I'm Champ Chong, it is Monday, and let's kick things off with the clip of the day.
The enemy now control all objectives.
C4 planted. Fire the hole! C4's blowing!
G'day guys, welcome to that show where I report on the latest in video game news from around the world. And if you do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure to smack that like button real good as always, and if you want to, you can teabag it also. Anyway, now we get to our first news report of the day, which comes to us from Ubisoft as they've released some details about the Assassin's Creed 3 multiplayer. And when I read all these details, I think my excitement for the game went from, yeah, it looks pretty good, to, oh my insane! Anyway, now we get to the actual details themselves. Assassin's Creed 3's multiplayer will now carry over the dynamic weather system we've seen in the single player demos. So what that basically means is when you're playing in the multiplayer, a freak snowstorm could come out of nowhere and affect your visibility, which would basically mean that it's harder to spot an enemy. Now another thing I found pretty interesting is that your character and the story will evolve together, because this time around they've actually built a story for the multiplayer. And part of that story is that your character is now a member of the public in present day, like 2012, as the Animus has now become a commercial product for pretty much anyone to try. With that being said, as you level up your character and complete new monthly challenges, your character will unlock files and extras inside the game. And speaking of actually playing the multiplayer, Ubisoft have introduced two new multiplayer game modes. There's Domination, a 4v4 team mode, and then there's Wolfpack, which sounds to me like a clever twist on Horde mode from Gears of War. As it's explained, Wolfpack sees 2 to 4 players team up to hunt AI opponents against the clock. During each round, you're assigned a target and you have a limited amount of time to hunt them down. And what makes it really interesting is that the development studio actually invested a lot of time to make all these AI behaviors do different things, because then it keeps it interesting when you're hunting them down. So yeah, from all this, it basically sounds like we're getting 2 games in one. What I mean is you get the whole single player story, and then you get this story inside the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is just so extensive, it's crazy. And honestly, I think other developers should look at this and be like, okay, we've got the single player and the multiplayer, let's try and make them as good as possible on each end. And yes, I know that Black Ops 2 is kind of doing it with the single player, the zombies, and the multiplayer, which is pretty cool to see. But my point is, I want to actually see developers kind of split up the game, if they do split up the game, and focus on both ends just as equally, not just go, hey, we got multiplayer on the side. And honestly, when I think about it, I wouldn't mind seeing 2 discs for one game. So you got single player and multiplayer, but many developers probably won't do that, won't even focus on that end, so that's going to be kind of sad for us.
Sad news! What the fuck?
So it's time for the sad news, but today is Monday, which means you're probably back at school or at work because the weekend's over, and you probably don't want any sad news, which means I'm not going to give you any sad news. Instead, I'm announcing that I have chosen the winner of the Max Payne Special Edition iPad from Rockstar Games. Now I guess you could technically say there's some sad news with what I'm about to say, because I can't actually reveal the winner just yet. The reason for this is that I'm finalizing things with Rockstar, so I can't really announce it until Wednesday. And I know what I'm saying right now sounds like an announcement for an announcement, which it kind of is, but you guys keep messaging me every single day asking what's happening with the iPad giveaway. And also, this announcement for an announcement actually beats any sad news that would have been on this show, because there wasn't any sad news for a Monday. That's pretty good. But anyway, now let's move to the big news.
Big news!
Okay, so first up on the big news today is an update to Friday's report on Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. Now, as I mentioned on Friday, the game was running on a PC during the demo, and many were wondering if this would be a current gen or next gen game. Well, it's been confirmed by Kojima himself, who said it'll be on the PS3, and the PS3 version will look just as good as the PC demo we saw. It's also been reported that the game might make its way on the Xbox 360 and the PC, which if it does make it on the Xbox, it'll mean that it's the first Metal Gear Solid game on an Xbox or Microsoft system. Anyway, next up on the big news is that God of War Ascension just had a new trailer released, and I've linked it down below for you guys to check out, as it shows off some new beasts for Kratos to tackle. And also late last week, Sony did announce a release date for this game, and it is March 15, 2013. But now moving to a game that's coming out in 2012, it's Halo 4. New screenshots were released over the weekend, and it shows off the classic red versus blue. And you know what? I'm actually pretty excited for Halo 4, even though I was slightly skeptical way back when it was announced that 343 was the only team behind it. But now, as we all see through these screenshots, the game looks brilliant, and my half-an-hour hands-on demo at E3 let me know that the game plays pretty well too. Anyway, that about does it for this Monday in gaming news. If you want to win yourself a Max Payne 3 Rockstar t-shirt, all you're gonna have to do is answer this Gorilla Man question I'm about to receive. Thanks, Gorilla Man. Okay guys, Gorilla Man wants to know, what game do you think has the best multiplayer and why? So put your answers down below in the comments section. You can win a t-shirt or end up on the next show, but if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to smack that like button, because I'm Champ Chong, my accent's Australian. Here are the answers to Gorilla Man's previous question.